Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So this is a very nice article by Maharaj where he's very elaborately discussing all these things. Of course, knowing the problem itself is a solution because it makes us understand which direction we are going. So, and many of them they know that okay, this is not the way. So then they'll start figuring out what is the way. And Maharaj actually in the initial part he told why not to make a religion. So there actually all the solution is there. That it's a spiritual search, spiritual journey, and yeah, very nicely he explained that concept. The first part itself is actually the solution. That not to do what not to do means what should be done. So yeah, and this is what happens is when we read Bhagavatam in in this perspective, then we start understanding it differently, and the depth also we understand, and we start appreciating. So when we see that the all the teachings are very in line, there is no contradiction only. It's all very nicely formed. So here we see Prithu Maharaj is glorified, and they are not they are glorifying his deeds, achievements also, but the starting glorification we see uh, it is uh, it is the following of dharma that is glorified more. It's not the result. So first thing is Purut Maharaj didn't want to take the praises very seriously, and then we discussed how even though he came from the body of Vena, he's not contaminated. And then the third shloka it says that then they say that we cannot glorify you, but we are doing it for our no, it is giving us benefit. So the glorification they are telling it is not for you, it is for our benefit. We are getting the taste, so we want to glorify. So and then we saw that they are started glorifying with the result, not result, but the action itself. So this is very important that we should focus on the actions, not the result, and that will help us to purify the heart. As long as we are focusing on the result, we become more and more polluted in the heart, and that causes pain and all the sufferings. But if you are interested in the action itself, that's a very wonderful thing. We are saved from all these problems. And then they started telling the achievements. They said how what all things you can achieve in due course of time. You will maintain living entities, keep them in pleasant condition, and no, and you'll maintain the upper planetary system by inducing the populace to perform Vedic sacrifice. So he's telling how he's maintaining the upper and planets and the earth also by making them do things properly. And then he explains that yeah, he is equal to all. The example is given like a sun. Sun god equally distributes sunshine everywhere. Viputta also distributes his mercy equally to all. Then they glorify that you are very tolerant and forgiving, and they compare with earth. And then he says you give protection like king of heaven, Indra. He gives protection by giving rain. So Indra gives rain. So they are comparing with Indra. And they say actually even without Indra also he can do. By virtue of his affectionate glances and beautiful moon-like face, he is always smiling with great affection for citizens and will enhance everyone peaceful life. And then the next glorification they says that uh, good administration, good diplomacy in and is very grave. So diplomacy is very grave. So this is the point they say that how he is very diplomatic, very proper administrator. And then they say that enemies cannot approach you. So unbearable to his enemies is very powerful in that way. So this is the glorification of his prowess and strength. Strength, right? So then next glorification comes. Prithu was able to see, King Prithu will be able to see all internal and external activities of every one of his citizens. Still, no one will be able to know a system of espionage, and he himself will remain neutral regarding all matters of glorification or vilification paid to him. He will be exactly like air, the life force within the body, which is exhibited internally, externally, but it is always neutral to all affairs. So he is like he knows, sees all internal and external actions of his citizens and compared to life air, like life air. So and he is actually neutral, and he does not get affected by glorification or vilification. Both is also there. These are the qualities a person who want to be in administration, they should follow these qualities that will benefit. These are the characteristics of an important ruler. So impartial ruler. So it's impartial. The duty of a ruler to punish the criminals and give protection to the innocent. King Prithu was so neutral that if his own son were punishable, he would not hesitate to punish him. On the other hand, if the son of his enemy were innocent, he would not engage in some intrigue in order to punish him. So this is the impartial ruler. So he will punish and everything is properly done. Then we see the next glorification that as the sun god expands his sun rays up to the Arctic region without impediment. The influence of King Puthu will cover all tracts of land up to the Arctic region and will remain undisturbed as long as he lives. So famous all over till Arctic region. Prabhupada said, although the Arctic is not visible to ordinary person, the sun shines there without impediments. Just as no one can check the sunshine from spreading all over the universe, no one can check the influence of region of King Prithu, which would remain undisturbed as long as he lived. The conclusion is that the sunshine and sun god cannot be separated, nor can King Prithu and his ruling strength be separated. His ruling over everyone would continue without disturbance. Thus, the king would not be separated from his ruling power. This king will please everyone by his practical activities, and all his citizens will remain very satisfied because of this. The citizens will take great satisfaction in accepting him as their ruling king. The king will be firmly determined, and so here will be pleased everyone is practical activity, and Lord is very practical person. So it's not that he's just giving some instructions, very practical. Because of this, citizens will get great satisfaction accepting as the ruler. He's not just making some promises, he's executing them. So that is the greatest challenge for any ruler. They all come with different plans across the world, but what happens is they are not able to execute them. So that causes the main problem. That's the main challenge. But King Prithu was very practical. So the king will be firmly determined and always situate in truth. He will be a lover of Brahminical culture and will render all service to old men and give shelter to all surrender souls. Giving respect To all, he will always be merciful to poor and innocent. So he is lover of Brahmanical culture, lover of Brahmanical culture. He will give shelter to old, he gives shelter to surrendered and innocent, poor and innocent. So poor and innocent comes all women and children come. So the word Vriddha Sevaka is very significant. Vriddha means old man. There are two kinds of old men. Old is by age and another is old by knowledge. This Sanskrit word indicates that one can be older by advancement of knowledge. King Prithu was very respectful to the Brahmanas and he protected them. He also protected persons advanced in age. Whatever the king would decide to do, no one would be able to stop. This is called Drida Sankalpa or Drida Vrata. So this is what is King Prithu. And further, they glorify him. He says that the king will respect all women if they were in his if they were his own mother, as if they were his own mother, and he would treat his own wife as other half of his body. He will be just like an affectionate father to his citizens, and will treat himself as most obedient servant of the devotees. Always preach the glories of Lord. So protection of women. He had only one marriage, so the learned man treat all women except his wife as his mother. Look on others' person's property as garbage in street and treat others as he would treat himself. This is Chanakya Pandit's saying. No? Matravat paradareshu paradarveshu loshtavat atmavat sarvabhuteshu yah pashyati sapandita. This is a learned person. These are the symptoms of a learned person as described Chanakya Pandit. This should be the standard for education. Education does not mean academic degree only. Very nice point Prabhupada is telling. It's not academic. One should execute what he has learned in personal life. So education means application. These learned characteristics were verily manifest in the life of King Prithu. Although he was the king, he treated himself as a servant of Lord's devotee. According to Vedic etiquette, if a devotee come to a king's palace, the king would immediately offer him his own seat. The word Brahma Vidhana is very significant. Brahma Vidhavadhi, sorry, Brahmavadinam is very significant. Brahmavadi refers to the devotee of Lord Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are different terms for the Supreme Brahman. This is accepted in Bhagavad Gita. So, Para Brahma, Paramdama, Pavitram. So, here Prithu was following this system very nicely, just not just academic degree. Prabhupada is telling academic degree not, but we should also apply it. King will be considered all embodied living entities as dear as his own self, and he will always be increasing the pleasure of his friends. He will intimately associate with liberated persons, and he will be a chastising hand to all impious persons. So here also, how he associates with different people differently, how he is associating. So with saintly people, he is intimately associating with liberated people. He is increasing the pleasure of his friends, and for the people who are miscreants, who are impious, he is chastising them. So he is uh, dealing differently with different people, dealing properly with different people. The word Dehina refers to those who are embodied. The living entities are embodied in different forms. which number 84 lakh species. All these were treated by king in the same way he would treat himself. In this age, however, so-called kings and prisoners do not treat all other living entities as their own self. Most of them are meat eaters, and even though they may not be meat eaters and may pose themselves to be very religious and pious, they still allow cow slaughter within their state. Such sinful heads of state cannot actually be popular at any time. Another significant word in this verse is Mukta Sangha Prasanga, which indicates that the king was always associated with liberated persons. So this is what is King Prithu. And the king is the master of the three worlds and is directly empowered by the Supreme Lord. He is without change and he is an incarnation of Supreme known as Shakta Avatar, being a liberated soul and completely learned. He sees all material verities as meaningless because their basic principle is nuisance. So here they are glorifying how he is transcendentally situated. So is transcendentally situated. Right. The reciters of these prayers are describing the transcendental qualities of Prithmaras. These qualities summarized in the word Sakshat Bhagavan. This indicates that Maharaj Prithu is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those possessing unlimited good qualities. Ayam tu Sakshat Bhagavam Adisha Utastha Atma Kalayavati Irnaha यस्मिन् अविद्या रचितां निरार्थकं पश्यन्ति नानावतमपि पातितां पार्थिता. So if somebody want to develop all the qualities which are mentioned here, they can recite this shloka. So this is the way of actually offering prayers, and this is the way to develop the qualities. Whatever Bhagavatam gives, that is important. So somebody is a leader and you want to have all good qualities. Then he can recite this prayer of Ruth Maharaj, pray to him every day. And he will develop the qualities. The formula is simple. You have to approach Bhagavatam and get our things done. We should not do any other things other than Bhagavatam. So that is the formula. So here the qualities were summarized in the word Sakshat Bhagwan. This indicates Mahaprabhu is directly the Supreme Personality of God, therefore possesses unlimited good qualities. Being an incarnation of Supreme Lord, Prithu could not be equaled in his excellent qualities. Supreme Lord is fully equipped with six kinds of opulences, and King Prithu was also empowered in such a way that he could display the six opulences Supreme Lord in full. The word Kutastha, meaning without change, is very significant. There are two kinds of living entities, Nitya Mukta and Nitya Bhakta. Nitya Mukta never forgets his position as eternal servant, and then one who does not forget his position and knows that he is part and parcel of Supreme Lord is Nitya Mukta. Nitya Mukta living entities represent Super Soul as his expansion. As stated in Vedas, Nitya Mukta Nityo Nityana. Nitya Mukta living entities know that he is an expansion of Supreme Nitya, eternal Lord. Being in such positions, he sees the material world with a different vision. So this is Prabhupada stating about a person who is liberated. One and Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastane Suniche Supakesha Pandita Samadarshinaha. So how he is able to see. Thus a learned man does not look upon the dress that externally covers the living entity, but sees the pure soul within the varieties of dress. One knows very well that the varieties of dress are the creations of nuisance, avidya. And Thus, king being uniquely powerful and heroic will have no competitors. He will travel around the globe on his victorious chariot, holding his invincible bow in his hand and appear exactly like the sun, which rotates in its own orbit from south. So this verse he says that in this verse the word yatarka indicates that the sun is not fixed but it is rotating in its orbit, which is set by Supreme Lord. This is confirmed in Brahma Samhita also. Yasyagnya Brahmati Sambhata Kalachakra. The conclusion is that the sun is not fixed in one place. And as far as Prithu is concerned, he is indicated that his ruling power would extend all over the world, Himalayas, everywhere. And Prabhupada said the as described in previous verse, the qualified king, be he King Prithu or any other king who rule over the state as an ideal king, should be understood to be God in human form. According to Vedic culture, king is honored as a supreme God because he represents Narayana, who also gives protection to the citizens. He is therefore Natha or the protector. Even Sanatana Goswami gave respect to Navapusenshal. A king or government head must therefore be competent to rule over the state, that the citizens will worship him as God in human form. So, 27. Okay, we will do it tomorrow. Thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? Okay, Hare Krishna. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam